What's up, YouTube? This is going to be a video on my sump tank underneath my 90-gallon. This is a 55-gallon sump tank. What I'm going to do is tell you a little about what I got here first, and then I'll walk you through how it works, and I'll explain it in more detail, along with the electrical and plumbing issues and problems, and how I overcame these plumbing issues that I had and my problems that I had. So this is a 55-gallon acrylic True View tank. I put the divider in here. This is a glass divider that I put in, and for sealant I used it's a marine sealant. It's called it's made by 3M. It's called 5200, and the stuff is like liquid nails. It is awesome. It'll cure underwater. It's safe for fish. You use it on boats. You could drill a hole in a boat and squirt some of this in there, and you'd be cured for life. So anywho, I have 2 chambers in my sump tank. I have a moving bed side here, which has I have a 400-gallon an hour pump in there, just moving water around, and I have my air stone and my intake where my water comes in. But I'm going to start on my return pump and work my way back to this side of the sump tank. The main chamber where where the water volume is on my sump tank, it houses my heaters and my charcoal, my temperature thermometer, and my return pump. I have a 1,000-gallon an hour return pump in here. It's running wide open, and I have 3/4 inch inside diameter vinyl tubing. Sorry about the light. Vinyl tubing that runs straight up through a hole I cut in the back of the stand here. It comes up to a sweet little fitting here to PVC straight over into the tank right here. And right at the water line, I drilled about a 3/8 diameter hole in the PVC pipe. That's going to prevent this tube from siphoning this water back like in a power outage. So that's how I overcame that. Pretty simple. You just drill a hole in it and it works like a top. So the water comes in here, 1,000 gallons an hour, overflows into this box. This is an overflow setup that I had on a siphon, a tank with a siphon setup, and I cut it all apart and I siliconed this box to the back of this tank. It's got a 1.25 inch bulkhead behind this box. Let me see if I can get a good view of it. Coming out of the back, it's a really simple setup. So I have an 1.25 inch coming out with a little 90, and originally I hard piped with PVC pipe. This is 1.25 inch PVC. This was all hard plumbed in, and the problem that I had was it was too loud. Coming through the hole there was hard pipe, and I had some 90s, and the water would fall down through the tube in the back, and when it would hit that 90, it would make the most outrageous sound, because it's 1,000 gallons an hour. It's moving water. It's moving a lot of water. So when it hits that 90, it was ridiculously loud. So how I fixed that is I ran soft PVC hose, which is the stuff for spas and stuff. So there's no hard bends. So basically it's a really nice smooth flow right into, this is my filter box. So it goes from my overflow through the tube into my filter box. This is a mechanical filter box. What I have in here, this is a removable lid that I made. What I have in here, this is just a piece of foam, but this is polycloth. This is polycloth here, and this is my mechanical filter. This stuff is great. It's so cheap, and when it gets bad, you just replace it because it's cheap. This piece right here probably costs $0.25. And then I have underneath that is fluorescent light diffuser. and I cut some PVC pipe to use as spacers underneath it so it would like float up. Because the problem I was having is my intake tube, which is another 1.25 inches, which is an 1.25 inch bulkhead going into my moving bed here. It was clogging up, so I had to raise the filter material up off the deck here so I could utilize every square inch of my filter material. So my overflow box, I built it myself. It's welded acrylic. It's never going to leak. It's awesome. It's like bulletproof. And in any case that this filter, if I leave or if I die, this filter is not going to overflow and flood my house. There's a nice 1.25 inch bulkhead going right into my tank. This is just an overflow, that's all it does. So if my water level, if this gets clogged, my water level will slowly rise and it'll flow right into this and drop right into my sump tank. So that's my mechanical filtration for my sump system. It's pretty ingenious. I like it. I think it's a great way to go. My tube that comes out of this mechanical filter system, there's an 1.25 inch bulkhead here, 1.25 inch PVC, comes almost to the bottom of this side of my sump tank. This is a moving bed filter. This is all K1. This is 2 cubic feet of K1 material, and it's bright white and it's not moving right now because it's brand new. It's too light. Once it gets bacteria on it, it's going to weigh it down a little bit, and it'll float more neutral in the water, and it'll move a lot more. But right now my tank is brand new. It's only been running for 6 days, and there's just no bacteria on it. So water in this comes up to the top of this. My divider has a 1.25 inch bulkhead that would overflow into this chamber. And to keep my K1 material from coming into this tube, I used a long piece of the 1.25 inch PVC pipe with a cap on it, just like the king of do-it-yourself did in his large tank moving bed. I think he used 2 55-gallon, the blue plastic drum. Anywho, I did the same thing. Works really good. Drilled a bunch of holes in it, and then I put screen off of like a screen door. I wrapped it and zip tied it on there, so no K1 is going to get into this side of my sump. And right now it's running full bore, and it's just, this is a great setup. Anyway, so that's the plumbing and the sump tank design. I'm going to do another video in like a month when this is all moving. It's going to look so cool because all of this is going to be circulating. It's going to look like a reactor. It's going to be really just wicked. And like I said before in my other video, there's no moisture that comes into this underneath here. I seal this up with my cover, seal this whole stand up, and it's sealed in the back with plywood. It's all sealed in. No moisture gets in here, so I don't have to worry about rot. I don't have to worry about my electricity shorting out. I don't have to worry about any electrical hazard, anything like that, because every single last little tiny micro square inch on this sump is sealed with glass. Everything has glass over it. Every little last hole, everything unused is siliconed, so literally no moisture escapes this sump setup. And you can tell that because you can see the moisture under the glass here. It's doing its job. It's a barrier. It's not coming up. I think you see all this, it looks like it's wet. It's not. This is dry. So all the moisture stays in, which is a really good thing because it cuts down on water changes. I suspect that I would only have to add water to this system maybe once every, if I just walked away from this and left it, and just from evaporation, I would probably have to add, I don't know, maybe 8 ounces of water in 6 months because it's so well sealed up. And that's it. So this line right here is my max fill line for this side of my sump. As you can see, it's about an inch above that, which is fine because really when like in a power outage, my water only comes up to here, which I'll go ahead and show you right now. I'm going to turn my pump off. I'll turn everything off. So, my tank is slowly rising, and it's going to rise up until about right here, which is plenty of room up top, you know. So for a power outage, this, I mean, it works fine. But normally, yeah, I'm going to keep to my mark that I made, and that's going to be my max fill mark when the system is running. That way it leaves more than I see. It's already pretty much stopped, and that's where it stops. So I have plenty of room in case the power goes out. There's no issue there. All I have to do is switch it back on, and she's running again. And this line right here is going to suck back down and be back where it was. So this is my moving bed 55-gallon sump tank system. The amount of K1 that I have, this biological filter is going to be enough filtration for 35 pounds of fish. So that's 35 pounds of fish that I can feed per day. That's what this 2 cubic feet of K1 coldness filter material is going to be able to convert into nitrate. It's 35 pounds, which is totally overkill because I'm never going to have 35 pounds worth of fish in here. But the reason I did with the 55-gallon sump tank is it adds water volume to my tank. I got this is a True View, which is a really nice acrylic tank, but it was scratched up. I got it for free. You know, I'm going to use it as a sump tank if I got it for free. It's 55 gallons, why not? That way my whole system, instead of 90 gallons with a little sump, it's 90 gallons plus I'm probably using at least 40 gallons of this 55-gallon tank. I'd say at least 40 gallons. So now I have a 130 gallon setup instead of a 90, which is the more volume of water you can use on your fish tank, the better off you're going to be, and the healthier your fish are going to be ultimately, because the water parameters are going to stay more stable for a longer period of time. Plus, I plan on building a huge tank. I'm a welder by trade, so I'm going to build a massive stand and buy one piece of acrylic and do like a 1,000-gallon tank for my house downstairs. It's going right on my concrete floor, and this is going to be my sump for that system. All I'm going to do is add another 2 cubic feet of K1 and more air flow to that side, and that'll sustain enough to feed 70 pounds worth of fish in my big tank. So, but that's another day. All my electrical cords, I have 2 of these doohickeys. I split the power between the pumps and the heaters, so there's equal load on either of them. Obviously, they're not even close to being maxed out. All the wires are kind of neatly tucked behind, and they run through one hole that I cut behind. Oh, there's no light back there. One hole I cut behind the tank, so there's a electrical outlet directly behind my tank. I have 2 plug-ins. That way, all I have to do is pop the cover off the front, and I have access to everything I could ever want. My air stone is just screwed to the side there. It's got rubber feet on it, so it's really quiet. I don't think I mentioned, but the reason you use a soft return line hose is for vibration. If you were to hard plumb this, your pump would vibrate and it'd be like zzz all day, all night, and it would suck. So you don't do that. You use a nice soft vinyl hose. Then when you run it, you just make sure it's not going to kink. The hole that in the back of this is large enough to where that vinyl tubing does not kink, and it will never kink as it goes through it. So yeah, this is my sump tank setup for my new tank, and I'll do a follow-up video in like a month when the K1 coldness material is actually moving. You can see that it's trying to, it's too, it wants to float too much, so it's all staying at the top. But once this baby gets rolling, it's going to be awesome. So anyways, we'll keep you posted. Thanks.